Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 4 with members Anissa Sekar Ayu with ID number 003, Eni Puji Lestari with ID number 033, Nur Hanifah with ID number 041, and Aulia Sifa Anissa with ID number 086. In here we are going to presentation about application of the supremum property. Okay, next is 2.4.1 examples. A. It is an important fact that taking suprema and infima of set is compatible with algebraic properties of real number. As an example, we present here the compatibility of taking suprema and addition. Let set S be a non-empty subset of real number that is bounded above, and let A be any number in real number. Define the set A plus set S. Define as set of A plus S, where S element of set S. We will prove that sub A plus set S is equals to A plus sub the set S. If we let U define as sub set S, then X less than or equal to U for all X element of set S, so that A plus X less than or equal to A plus U. Therefore, A plus U is an upper bound for the A plus set S. Consequently, we have sub A plus set S that is less than or equal to A plus U. Now, if V is any upper bound of the set A plus set S, then A plus X is less than or equal to V for all X element of set S. Consequently, X less than or equal to V minus A for all X element of the set S, so that V minus A is an upper bound of the set S. Therefore, U is equals to subset S is less than or equal to V minus A, which gives us A plus U is less than or equal to V. Since V is any upper bound of A plus set S, we can replace V by sub A plus set S to get A plus U is less than or equal to sub of A plus set S. Combining the these inequalities, then we can conclude that sub of A plus set S is equals to A plus U in equals to A plus sub set S. B. If the suprema and infima of two sets are involved, it is often necessary to establish result in two states, working with one set at a time. Here is an example. Suppose that set A and set B are non-empty subsets of real number that satisfy the property A less than or equal to B for all A element of set A and all B is element of set B. We will prove that set S is less than or equal to infima set B. For given B element of set B, we have A is less than or equal to B for all A is element of set A. This means that B is an upper bound of set A, so that sub set B is less than or equal to B. Next, since the last inequality holds for all B element of set B, we see that the number sub set A is a lower bound of the set B. Therefore, we can conclude that subset A is less than or equal to infima set B. Function. The idea of upper bound and lower bound is applied to function by considering the range of a function. Given a function f maps the set D into the set of real number, we say that f is bounded above if the set function D is equals to set of fx, where x is element of set D, is bounded in real number. That is, there exists B element of real number such that fx is less than or equal to B for all x element of set D. Similarly, the function f is bounded below if the set function of D is bounded below. We say that f is bounded if it is bounded above and below. This is equivalent to saying that there exists set B is element of real number such that absolute value of fx is less than or equal to set B for all x element of D.
For the next is example of 2.4.2. Suppose that f and g are real valued functions with common domain. D is element of real number. We assume that f and g are bound. For the part A, if fx is less than or equal to gx for all x element of D, then supremum of fd is less than or equal to supremum of gd, which is sometimes we written as supremum of fx, where x is element of D, is less than or equal to supremum of gx, where x is element of D. We first note that gx is greater than or equal to fx, or gx is less than or equal to supremum gd, which implies that the number supremum of gd is an upper bound of fd. Therefore, supremum of fd is less than or equal to supremum of gd. And for the part B, we note that the hypothesis of fx is less than or equal to gx for all x element of D in part A does not imply any relation between supremum fd and infimum gd. For the example, if fx defined by x squared and gx defined by x with D is equal to x, where x is greater than or equal to 0 and x is less than or equal to 1, then fx is less than or equal to gx for all x element of D. However, we see that supremum fd is equal to 1 and infimum of gd is equal to 0. Since supremum gd is equal to 1, the conclusion of A holds. And for the part C, if fx is less than or equal to gy for all xy is element of D, then we may conclude that supremum of fd is less than or equal to infimum of gd, which we may write as supremum of the fx, where x is element of D is less than or equal to infimum gy, where y is element of D. Note that the function in B do not satisfy this hypothesis. And the next is the Archimedean property. If x is element of real number, then there exists an x element of natural number such that x is less than or equal to nx. Proof. If the assertion is false, then n is less than or equal to x for all n element natural number. Therefore, x is an upper bound of natural number. Therefore, by the completeness property, the non-empty set n has a supremum u element of real number. Subtracting 1 from u gives a number u minus 1, which is smaller than the supremum u of natural number. Therefore, u negative 1 is not an upper bound of natural number. So, there exists m element of natural number with u negative 1 is less than from m. Adding 1 gives u is less than m plus 1, and since m plus 1 is element of natural number, this inequality contradicts the fact that u is an upper bound of n. And for the next is corollary 2.4.4. If S defined by 1 over n, where n is element of natural number, then infimum S is equal to 0. Proof. Since S is not equal to non-empty set, is bound below by 0, it has an infimum and will let W defined by infimum S. It is clear that W is more than or equal to 0. For any epsilon greater than 0, the Archimedean property implies that there exists an element of natural number such that 1 over epsilon is less than from n, which implies 1 over n is less than epsilon. Therefore, we have 0 is less than or equal to w is less than or equal to 1 over n is less than epsilon. But since epsilon is greater than 0 is arbitrary, it follows from theorem 2.1.9 that w is equal to 0. And for the next is corollary 2.4.5. If t is greater than 0, there exists an t element of natural number such that 0 is less than 1 over nt over t, or 1 over nt is greater than 0 and 1 over nt is less than t. Proof. Since infimum from 1 over n, where n is element of natural number is 0 and t is greater than 0, then t is not a lower bound for the set 1 over n, where n is element of natural number. Thus, there exists nt element natural number such that 1 over nt is greater than 0 and 1 over nt is less than t. And the next is corollary 2.4.6. If y is greater than 0, there exists ny element natural number such that ny negative 1 is less than or equal to y, and or y is greater than or equal to ny negative 1 and y is less than or equal to ny. For the proof, the Archimedean property ensures that the subset EY defined by m element of natural number, where y is less than m of natural number is not empty. By the well-ordering property 1.2.1, EY has a least element which we denote by ny, then ny negative 1 does not belong to AY, and hence we have y is greater than or equal to ny negative 1 and y is less than or equal to ny.
Okay, I will continue the presentation from Annie. The existence of the square root of 2.4.7 theorem, there exists a positive real number x such that x squared is equal to 2. The proof is, let the set of S defined as S element real number where 0 is less than or equal to S squared is less than 2. Since 1 is element of S, the set is not empty. Also, S is bounded above by 2, because if t greater than 2, then t squared greater than 4, so that t is not element of S. Therefore, the supremum property implies that the set S has a supremum in real number, and we let X define as supremum of S. Note that X is greater than 1. We will prove that X squared is equal to 2 by ruling out the other two possibilities. X squared is less than 2 and X squared is greater than 2. The next slide. First, assume that x squared is less than 2. We will show that this assumption contradicts the fact that x is equal to supremum S by finding an n element natural number such that x plus 1 over n is element of S, thus implying that x is not an upper boundary for S. To see how to choose n, note that 1 over n squared is less than or equal to 1 over n, so that parenthesis x plus 1 over n squared is equal to x squared plus 2x over n plus 1 over n squared is less than or equal to x squared plus 1 over n times 2x plus 1. Hence, if we can choose n so that 1 over n times 2x plus 1 is less than 2 minus x squared. Then we get x plus 1 over n squared is less than x squared plus 2 minus x squared is equal to 2. By assumption, we have 2 minus x squared is greater than 0, so that 2 minus x squared over 2x plus 1 is greater than 0. Hence, the Archimedean property or corollary 2.4.5 can be used to obtain n is element of natural number, such that 1 over n is less than 2 minus x squared over 2x plus 1. And next, these steps can be reversed to show that for this choice of n, we have x plus 1 over n element S, which contradicts the fact that x is an upper bound of S. Therefore, we cannot have x squared is less than 2. Now assume that x squared is greater than 2. We will show that it is then possible to find m element natural number such that x minus 1 over m is also an upper bound of set S, contradicting the fact that x is equal to supremum of S. To do this, note that parenthesis of x minus 1 over m squared is equal to x squared minus 2x over m plus 1 over m squared is greater than x squared minus 2x over m. Hence, if we can choose m so that 2x over m is less than x squared minus 2. Okay, next slide. Then, x minus 1 over m squared is greater than x squared minus 2 equal to 2. Now, by assumption, we have x squared minus 2 is greater than 0, so that x squared minus 2 over 2x is greater than 0. Hence, by the Archimedean property, there exists m element natural number such that 1 over m is less than x squared minus 2 over 2x. These steps can be reversed to show that for this choice of m, we have x minus 1 over m squared is greater than 2. Now, if small s element of S, then S squared is less than 2, less than x minus 1 over m squared. Whence it follows from 2.1.13a that S is less than x minus 1 over m. This implies that x minus 1 over m is an upper bound for S, which contradicts the fact that x is equal to supremum S. Therefore, we cannot have x squared is greater than 2. Since the possibilities x squared is less than 2 and x squared is greater than 2 have been excluded, we must have x squared is equal to 2.
Okay, I will continue the presentation from Hanifah. By slightly modifying the preceding argument, the reader can show that if A is greater than 0, then there is a unique B greater than 0 such that B squared equals to A. We call B the positive square root of A and denote it by B equals to the square root of A or B equals to A power half. A slightly more complicated argument involving the binomial theorem can be formulated to establish the existence of a unique positive n root of A, denoted by n root of A or A power 1 over n, for each n is element of natural number. Remark, if in the proof of theorem 2.4.7, we replace the set of S by the set of rational number T defined by R element of rational number, where 0 is less than or equals to R, and R squared is less than 2, the argument then gives the conclusion that Y defined by supremum of T satisfies Y squared is equals to 2. Since we have seen in theorem 2.1.4 that Y cannot be a rational number, it follows that the set T that consists of rational numbers doesn't have a supremum belonging to the set of a rational number. Thus, the ordered field Q of rational numbers doesn't possess the completeness property. Okay, next is density of rational numbers in real number. 2.4.8, the density theorem. If x and y are any real numbers with x is less than y, then there exists a rational number. R is element of rational number such that R is between x to y. Proof: it is no loss of generality to assume that x is greater than 0. Since y minus x is greater than 0, it follows from corollary 2.4.5 that there exists an element of natural number such that 1 over n is less than y minus x. Therefore, we have nx plus 1 is less than ny. If we apply corollary 2.4.6 to nx greater than 0, we obtain m is element of natural number with m minus 1 is less than or equals to nx less than 2m. Therefore, m is less than or equals to nx plus 1 and less than 2ny. Whence nx m is between from nx to ny. Thus, the rational number r defined by m over n satisfies r is between from x to y. 2.4.9 corollary. If x and y are real numbers with x is less than y, then there exists an irrational number z such that z is between from x to y. Proof: if we apply the density theorem 2.4.8 to the real numbers x over the square root of 2 and y over the square root of 2, we obtain a rational number r is not equal to 0, such that r is between from x over the square root of 2 to y over the square root of 2. Then z defined by r, the square root of 2, is irrational and satisfies z is between from x to y. Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.